Very good morning to everybody whose audience owns the participants, attendees for this conference webinar. Distinguished Chairman Dr. Hoang Thi Lien, Director DASD Kozhikode Kerala, Co-Chair Mr. Satyan, Secretary Spice Board Kochi Kerala, India. Also, distinguished Dr. Lijo Thomas, who supports me a lot when we procedure and documents to attend the conference, and also two rapporteurs, Dr. Shiva Kumar and Dr. John. So thank you for your working hard behind the scene to have the organizers. So it's my great pleasure. Before I go into the detail of my presentation, I know time is a very highly controlled, 25 minutes, and then 5 minutes for Q&A session. Allow me to, on behalf of the myself and then international paper community, to show my sincere thanks to the organizer of the SIMSAC 10 with the co-sponsor, co-supporter to make the event happen today and in the next 2 days. So last night I attended the inauguration. It also was a very useful. I see various topics and subjects that will be happen in the next 3 days. That very hopeful to bring back to the industries and all the relevant stakeholders in the spice industry, including black pepper market, an insight about how the business, how the market, and how the serious situation happen in own origins sources. So I think I cannot say much more about the cooperation between the IPC and myself, also with the relevant agencies in India during the time that I have worked at the IPC as executive director. I think to be here, I think we also have a very strong support from Dr. Hoang, who also directed the DASD. The partner of IPC farmer app projects to support Indian pepper farmers. We also got the support from Spice Council from Sri Lanka, Mr. Sarada, who also here today for a lead speaker for seed spices. He's also Spice Council of Sri Lanka, also partner of IPC in the project Farmer App to support black pepper farmer growers in Sri Lanka, and various others partner, my friends also in this webinar, but I may not be able to name all. So I think that is my opening to acknowledge your support and your cooperation to with the international pepper community. So now I would like to start my presentation about the black pepper market. So I put the title that is today presentation should be I will talk about the global production and trade scenario of the black pepper. Okay, so in the first part, next slide. So in the first, my presentation will have two parts. So the first part, okay, the first part I will talk about the global pepper trade and statistics, and the second part I will go into the market scenarios. So in the first part we will have data and figures to update about, for example, planted area, production capacity, productivity, and statistics on export and import. So the way we as IPC, we are the organizer, the secretariat of the black pepper producing countries, that is Vietnam, India, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Malaysia, and then the other two associate members, Philippines and Papua New Guinea. So the way we work with the and support the members, that is we collect data from the members, and then after that we justify, and then we also check with the industry and also some other third parties, and then after that we will publish the data based on the IPC assessment. So for the first part, I will show you the plantation update until now from the various countries. So in the table, you will see that I list the period from 2010 up to 2020 in April. So the country I listed here by alphabetical order, no matter who is they are IPC member or non-IPC member. For example, you can see here Brazil and Cambodia, China, even not a member of IPC. However, they are also play a dominant role in the market in terms of production capacity. So those countries are listed here. So you see in the period in the total period of 10 years, 2010 up to 2020 is the estimated number showing that the total up to now we have own countries. We have around more than 560,000 hectares owned around the countries. Okay, so if you see from this pie chart, you can see very clearly that the biggest portion goes to Indonesia. So Indonesia accounted for 32%, followed by India 24%, and Vietnam 24%, and other small country, Sri Lanka, Brazil, China, Cambodia, and Malaysia. For example, you can see here the very newcomer Cambodia. They just started their pepper industry in almost 10 years ago, around 2010. So up to now, they over in the less than 10 years, they already reaching almost same portion, same percentage as Malaysia. That is around 7,400 to 7,500 hectares. So the another pie chart below, that is estimated data from 2004 to year 2020. So in principle, it's not much different. A little bit up and down of each members. However, the biggest portions in Indonesia, India, and Vietnam. Okay, so next slide, please. So okay, so now based on that area production, and then the either high or low or medium range of the productivity, so we come up with the production volume counted by 1,000 metric tons for all the country in the period of 2010 up to 2020. So you can see here in 2020, the total production of pepper in producing country was estimated to reach at around more than 560,000 metric tons. About around only 1% increase as compared with 2019. That is a very good news that we don't have a very high increase level between year to years. So in details, we have Brazil now went up and to take over Indonesia. So after Vietnam, Brazil now becomes the second largest producer. And then the new area in Brazil, that is the name, the area called Espírito Santo. Okay, that is about Brazil. So they are now reaching more than 80,000, between 80 to 90,000. Okay, so this pie will show you more clear picture. Excuse me. So we have here the percentage bit among various sources. Vietnam accounted for 47%, Brazil 14%, almost the same with Indonesia, 14%, and the other country less than 10%. And then Malaysia, even a member, but almost same as level with Cambodia. Okay. So based on that production and the area of cultivation area, so we arrive at the productivity estimated by country. So if you can see here, the Brazil number one. Okay, if you go to the next slide. Okay, so if you see this graph, you can see that Brazil in the top, and then after that Malaysia and Cambodia, Vietnam, China, Sri Lanka, and India, Indonesia. So very sad. Recently, in almost 10 years, the Indonesia from top number 2 now become almost at the nearly below the line. So you can see here the Brazil top productivity countries, that's more than 2.5. That is I'm talking about average. So 2,500 tons per hectare. Whereas let's say Indonesia or India around 400 tons per hectare. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so because of the either each member has a high level of production or medium level of production, so they will use that production to increase their exports. So you can see here during 2010 to 20, producing country export of pepper has shown a significant increase trend. The average annual increase of the total export figure was reported as 6%, and the highest spike was reported in 2017 with a 19% increase as opposed to the previous year 2018. Currently, the figure of pepper export from producing country in 2020 was already reported to be around 1%, equivalent to 5,600 metric tons, increase as compared to 2019. Furthermore, Vietnam already had contributed to almost 59% of the total global export to share in 2020, followed by Brazil and Indonesia. So Cambodia export in 2020 was taken from the official data, but Cambodia actually the data is official, not reflected the real situation of trading in Cambodia, because Cambodia has a border trade with Vietnam and Thailand. So too much trade cross border, the government cannot record it legally. Okay, so this is a graph show you how we see the picture, the overall picture of the export among various countries. Vietnam is top one, Brazil is top two, Indonesia top two, and then follow country, for example, Cambodia and India. So you can see here in the top four, Vietnam, Brazil, Indonesia, Cambodia. Those are net exporter of pepper because they produce a lot, but the consumption of the in the domestic market is not very not significant. So that is the reason why they have always reached the highest level of export. Below that, we see India. They have a strong support from domestic market capacity, so that helped them to absorb the production for the purpose of domestic market and also for the industrial purposes. Okay, so now I'm talking about the import from the origins. So if you see here, we see during the year 2014 to 2020, the import market share of pepper producing countries was dominated by Vietnam. So Vietnam also the country the biggest producer and also the highest volume of export and also the highest volume of import, because they import for re-export for to do further processing, and then followed by India and China. Okay, so the next slide, you can see that is the import from non-IPC country. It means from consuming country. For example, we have France, we have Germany, we have Netherlands, we have Poland, Russia, United Kingdom. Those are from the EU market. The other markets stand alone to be the US, United States, and then China and Japan. Okay, so during the period 2014 to 20, the pepper global import was dominated by US. As you can see, more than 74,000 metric tons. And then more than around 48,000 tons import from Vietnam. So the main source to the US market that is Vietnam. So now if you see, if we want to take the top 5 the global importers, you can see that is the United States, China, Vietnam, India, and Germany. India, of course, for domestic and then for the processing value addition industry. And China for the domestic market. United States also for the domestic market, and also for the North American region. Okay, so now the interesting part I would like to move to that is price and global market scenario. So okay, so here you can see the 100 years historical data. Movement to reflect how the price of black pepper, in the New York market. So we record here that is follows the American standards. We call it as the ASTA CNF York price. So you can see here, early 20th centuries. Early 19th century, we see the circle, the movement of the price, the movement of the price in the global market. It takes around 20 years. In fact, it's a circle that is, it takes around 20 years to go up and to go down, and then back to the new equilibrium. However, recently, from Next slide. So from 2060 up to now, you see that the circle now from 20 years shortened to 10 years. The reason for that, we have some factors, supporting the movement of the shorten of the price cycling in the market. For example, we have exponential growing population of the world population. The advent of the information technology. So it has the information dissemination received by the stakeholder in the market, by the trader in the market more faster. That is the reason why the circle now from 20 years shortened to 10 years. Okay, so if you can see here, the red color, the red line, that is about production, whereas the blue line is about price. So these two lines always move in a different direction, in the reverse way. So when the supply increase, the price remain lower, and once the supply lagging, price went up. So now you see during the circle of 10 years, you see that because if we're talking about the pepper cultivation itself, it normally takes 3 to 4 years for cost correction. As you know, pepper plants takes this 3 to 4 years to fruition, to have a fruit, to have a harvesting after plantation. So that supports us the argument that now circle from 20 years down to shorten to 10 years, and within that 10 years, because of the making fruitation period of pepper, it takes 3 to 4 years. So the circle of 10 years is practical. Okay, so okay, next slide. So in the next, I make the color. Actually, that slide same with the previous slide, but I make in a color because I take it from the color of the video clips to make it more clear. So you can see based on the movement, again, the red color, that is the production, the blue color, that is the price. So there is a correlation between the production and price in the global black pepper market. So we can see here there is a circle one, that is a very early 20th century, that we have a demand mostly driven by the Western country. Okay, in the cycle 2, we have an intervention from the Asia market. For example, the Asia market as that in cycle 2 becomes the largest producer and also consumer. For example, in the period of 1980 to 1990, we have a Brazil ramp up, and then we have Vietnam joy foray in a big way from 1990 up to 2000. So that is the reason why we make the circle 2 dominated by the Asia region, Asia market. And then we have a circle 3. Circle 3 there is objective factors that affect the affected market. That is because of deregulation of the consuming countries. They issue more regulation in terms of food safety, healthy, more stringent regulation, more technical requirement for the food, including spice industry and black pepper, to enter the consuming market. Okay, and then very interesting story also, if you see in the circle 4. In the circle 4, we are talking about trade market maker. Okay, those are how to say, plenty of capital. For example, that is the period between the 2008 up to 2015. They have in 2008 we have a Gulf Corporation Council. They are very well capitalized. Money. The real estate industry not growing. The rice and sugar price collapse. So more, and then food business was seen as a recession proof for the with a fast turnaround time, and then with a shorter time to get back the investment capital. That is the reason why so many speculation happened in the global black pepper market. It happened mainly in Dubai and Singapore market. That is the reason why we see a sudden shock, a sudden increase in the period in the cycle 4. It makes the price go up to almost 13 $14,000 per ton. That is a crazy, price. But anyways, so many farmers in that period, they got a lot of benefit when, the market has intervened by the speculator group. And then the last one, after the trade maker left the market, and the demand in the market now become more real, more close to the real demand. That is the reason why we are experiencing up to now from 2000 late second half of 2016 until now, that we are experiencing a steep fall in terms of price. And then next slide. Then you can see the price now for the black pepper around 3,000, and then the white 3,006, and then white pepper around $4,008 per ton. That is the average price of the own from the own market. So that give after analyzing and giving some observation about the production and price, that is the up to date market global market scenario that already presented also at the webinar of the IPC 2020 organized in January 2021. So you can see here up to now we have total capacity of all countries in the world around IPC country. We have total production estimated for the year 2020, that is 576,000. For the year 2021, we have a 554,000. So a little bit decrease. So after you add production with the import, and then you minus domestic consumption, the rest that is exportable, you do export, and then you still, the whole world still got carried forward for the next season. That is more than 100. Okay, so we are happy to see that the development between the positive development between the year 2021 and 19 to 20 and 2021. So slightly the government from producing country has managed the production capacity a little bit better. Okay, my thumbs up, but I think I will finish in 1 or 2 minutes. However, we still got the gap between the demand side and supply side. And then as you can see in the slide, so we have almost extra 100,000 tons. Whereas between the demand and supply, every year based on the purpose of the black pepper, for example, for the food, for the industry, and then for other speculation factors. So we still got extra more than 100,000. Whereas the total demand of the total global market need every year to increase 1 to 2%. So in absolute volume around 10 to 15,000 tons. So what we have oversupply in the market still significant, and then the government as a producing country need to look at that and manage that in a way that we try to narrow the gap between supply and demand to make the market more stable. So I think on that at that slide I finished my presentation, and then I'm happy to take any questions, comments from audience, and then if any question I can answer now, I can give you information now, I will do it now. If any information you may request that not available now, please email me to the contact on the screen. I will get back to you very soon. So thank you very much.